Time now for 1 full hour of nitro-fueled NHRA talk. It's the Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts with Marty Huff and 10-time NHRA winner Doug Herbert. Brought to you by Hercules Tires. Now, here's your hosts, Doug and Marty.
This is the Straight Line on Drag Racing. Thanks for being here for our 1 hour of horsepower. Appreciate you being with us. Courtney Force takes her first Wally in 32 races. We'll chat with her. Doug Kalitta takes top fuel. And Leah Pritchett will let us in on her new deal as well. The burnout is complete, and we're set to launch another edition of the Straight Line. Wherever you may be across the country, around the world, this is the Straight Line on MRN.com. And along with four-time IHRA Top Fuel champion, 10-time NHRA National Event winner Doug Herbert, I am Marty Huff. So glad you can join us for our 1 hour of horsepower. We want to start with this first. A really cool story. On the NHRA.com website, you can find a section on there called Heart of the NHRA, which is about people and organizations who are making a difference out in the community through drag racing. The last one before this week was our good friend Terry Chandler, who's got one of the biggest hearts anywhere. With her support is supporting the Make-A-Wish car on Don Schumacher's team, as well as the Infinite Hero car driven by Jack Beckman for DSR as well. This week is brakes. How about that?
That was pretty neat. Yeah, that was really neat. I'm very excited to have, obviously the support from the NHRA and all of our friends over there. They also ran a piece on brakes with Larry Dixon and Tony Pendergrass, brought their teenagers through brakes a few weeks ago, so that was really neat. So just a neat deal, and very awesome to have the National Hot Rod Association as a supporter of brakes. You know, they really are. They're, Tom Compton was a big supporter for a long time, and now Peter Clifford is, and all the guys over at the National Hot Rod Association. They've brought their teenage drivers to brakes. Yeah. They come to our galas, they come to our golf tournament. They're supporters. I mean, my dad was friends with Wally. I was friends with Wally. So I mean, right. The reason why they started the NHRA was to get the kids off the street. They go to the track and race, and developing all through this professional things. I think that's got a little bit lost, but brakes is a little bit of a grassroots thing. Yeah. And so just super to have this support from them and for running that story on the Fox Sports broadcast and also on the NHRA.com website.
Yeah, and so you can find that story on the NHRA.com website. We've also been on social media with this, so you can check out the motorracingnetwork.com. You can check it out on motorracingnetwork.com. You can also check it out on our Twitter page, Facebook page. Links to that will all be there. So if you didn't catch that during the broadcast, really cool feature on brakes with Donovan Dixon. Was in that. Tony Pendergrass' daughter went through it. Yes. And really cool. Check it out. And if you need any more, you can go on to the putonthebrakes.org website for more. Headed back to Houston from this weekend. Wanted to get your reaction, first of all, before we got into the racing. Two really big incidents, really horrifying incidents. Hopefully, and luckily everybody was okay. Sidney Frigo in a pro mod car. He had been in a Top Fuel car for, a couple of years.
I've seen him a few races, yeah.
Yeah, and then switched to a Pro Mod car. That thing went flipping end over end. I mean, that was scary.
Well, I don't know if you watched the video, but when I watched the video, that car was out of control from the time he left the starting line. You're sitting there watching going, lift,
Get out of it, dude.
Lift. And he just never lifted, and then bam. So, I mean, I'm glad he's okay. I don't know that I feel so sorry for him. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, right.
Lift.
Yeah, and this isn't even Sunday. I mean,
it was qualifying. There's no reason to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw it and I was like, wow, what was he thinking? I don't know. He's more experienced than that.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have. Right. He shouldn't have got caught up in. I got to get it to the finish line. And I mean, you get a little bit caught up in that in race day and so forth, but. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't seem like that good of a decision for him.
At some point, you think, all right, dude, get out of it.
Lift. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the most important thing about driving a top fuel car, especially. And that, he had some experience driving a top fuel car, but driving any of those really fast cars, like the most important thing is knowing when to lift your foot off the gas pedal. Like, you go, okay, we're going to come back and we're going to race another day. We're going to shut this thing off so we have something left.
Yep.
And
Unfortunately,
I saw it. Like I said, I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah.
But that was a bad move. I mean, it was just he did a bad job.
Yep. And on the other side, one that Terry McMillan just absolutely could not help was an unbelievable blow-up. We were talking about it before the show, and we have it here on the screen, as you mentioned, this used to happen quite a bit when we were 100% nitro and things could get like that.
Well,
right.
and there was less safety equipment on the cars and so forth. But, I mean, the last one I remember like Terry's was probably Eddie Hill back in the late 90s, had a big explosion like that. But that was that was a bad one. I'm glad Terry was okay, and it sounds like Don Schumacher Bunch kind of came to the rescue, and they're getting him a new car. They worked some kind of deal out, so he'll be able to go racing again here.
That's cool.
But yeah, I'm glad Terry's okay. And then Terry runs a budget operation, so for him to go out there and wreck, I mean that was probably $100,000 mess, $50,000 to $100,000 mess up. Man, that's a bad deal. And hopefully they know what happened so that they can keep it from happening again. Because that's the problem when you run into something like that, is it happens and you go, we don't know what it was. And then
then you're going, oh man, next time I hit the loud pedal on this thing, exactly. Right. Is it going to happen again?
Usually on a deal like that, you just have to take the shotgun approach. You have to replace all your electronics on the car. You need to go. You just need to go through every single piece and part on the car. Even if you think you found it, you still go through every piece because the explosions are so bad and so costly. But even forgetting all that, thing blows up and you crash the car going 330 miles an hour. Guess what? It's dangerous too. Yeah. So there's a lot of reasons why. Man, that was really bad. Lucky Terry's okay, and hopefully they figure out what happened so they can keep from happening.
Yeah, and initially they thought that some of the parts and pieces had gone over into the other lane into Tony Schumacher's car. They checked that car from one end to the other. There was no problems with it. Fortunately, all the people on the Army car said, no, we're good. But that's another circumstance, especially when you're side by side like that. You get something wrong in one end or on one
like
lane.
We saw last year at Gainesville with Larry Dixon.
That's
right?
exactly
all the
right.
stuff came over into Doug Kalitta's lane. Yeah, and that was. I don't know how Doug dodged all those bullets.
Idea.
I mean, that was wow. We'll have to ask Doug a little bit what he thought about that when we talk to him a little bit later in the show.
Yep. And speaking of which, a good segue. We will talk to Doug Kalitta, the Top Fuel winner at Royal Purple Raceway in Houston. We'll also talk to Leah Pritchett, who has a new deal in place just for a couple of races, but it's a start. Of course, a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago, her team shut down, unfortunately, and she was kind of left looking for another ride. She's picked up a couple of races with Don Schumacher Racing, and we will talk to Leah Pritchett about that. We'll also have a recorded segment that we did yesterday with Courtney Force, and that is coming up. Courtney, a big winner this weekend, first time in 32 races that she has been in Victory Circle, and it's good to see her back in winning races. So we'll talk to Courtney as well.
Another funny thing that I saw was the first time ever two sisters are leading professional points. It's kind of a cool stat.
Yes.
Courtney leading the funny car points and Brittany leading the top field points. So pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And then Doug Kalitta only 1 point behind too. So there's not a nice margin there or anything like that. And obviously this is early in the year, but that's still pretty cool to have those two. Two sisters leading the points, especially after the year that they had last year with Courtney's car. They weren't in the top 10, and now they're leading the points. They're won races. I mean, we knew they wouldn't be down for long.
I would take the points standings right now, and I would take a big picture of it, blow it up, frame it, and put it in the John Force Racing inside the front doors,
somewhere
in the
where
front
you
lobby.
look at it every day, where you walk by every day
and go, that was really cool. And hopefully for them, their success continues and more of that happens. But you just never know. That may never happen ever again. And so hopefully they do something with that. But that is really cool that both Brittany and Courtney right now at the top of the.
How about in Pro Stock,
standings.
Jason Line every final round this year? That's pretty amazing. That's like back to the Bob Glidden days to have that much success going.
Yeah, have that much of an advantage right now. I hadn't thought about it that much. Or like that, but you're right. That is Glidden-esque.
Yeah.
When WJ was, really dominant. I don't even think WJ really had a streak like that. Maybe, but not
there's
many.
Not been many of those. I don't even know that Force has had a streak like that. I mean, that's like historical. You've got
absolutely.
Perdome, I know he did that a few times in the in the Army funny car days and stuff. But that's a heck of a deal.
Yeah,
that's a streak.
Yeah, it really is. And so, congratulations to the KB guys. They continue on with their winning ways, and it really looks like they're going to continue that here at least in the next couple of races. All right, pop quiz time. We had this last week, and so hopefully you learned from last week. Sunday, big day coming up, which is
Sunday, big day coming up, Mother's Day. So we got Mother's Day, and then proflowers.com.
Absolutely. Get 100 blooms with a free vase for $19.99 plus shipping and handling, and you can really make her day by upgrading to a premium vase and gourmet chocolates for just $9.99 more. Go to proflowers.com today. Use the code MRN for the discounts. Now, the only way that you can get 100 blooms and a free vase starting at $19.99 is going to proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the right-hand corner. Type in MRN. Mother's Day is this weekend, so get on it. Your time is running off. This offer ends on Friday at midnight. When we return, we will talk to the funny car winner at Royal Purple Raceway, a recorded segment that we have with Courtney Force, and that's coming up next.
This is The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. More coming up right after this.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Mother's Day is this weekend. Mom has always been an expert on everything: cooking, relationship advice, fixing your cuts and bruises. The one thing you can't go to her for advice on is what to get her for Mother's Day. Not to worry, you'll look like an expert on Mother's Day when you use Pro Flowers. Get Mom 100 blooms with a free glass vase for $19.99 plus shipping and handling, or make her day extra special. Upgrade to a premium vase and add gourmet chocolates for just $9.99 more. Go to proflowers.com today and use code MRN. Here is the only way to get 100 blooms and a free glass vase starting at just $19.99. Visit proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the top right-hand corner. Type in MRN. That's proflowers.com. Click on the microphone and type in MRN. Mother's Day is this weekend, so order today. Time is running out. This offer expires Friday at midnight.
It's The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now here's Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Thanks for being with us on The Straight Line today. Joined now on the telephone line by the driver of the Traxxas Chevy Camaro for John Force Racing and winner of the funny car division at Royal Purple Raceway. Courtney Force joins us. Courtney, thanks for your time. We really appreciate it. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you so much. It's great to be on with you guys.
Now, there are no bad scenarios here, but maybe the coolest thing to come out of this whole win is that we look at the points, and at the top of the funny car list is you, and at the top of the top fuel list is your sister. That is really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, it's cool to see that, Brittany held on to the top fuel points lead, and I believe I'm tied with Tim Volkerson leading the funny car point standing. So it's really cool to kind of leave a weekend with a win, and I found out right before I was going on stage to get the Wally that Brittany and I were both leading the points, and I thought that was really cool, being sisters and everything. I'm always there supporting her, and it's been great to see her success so far this season, and it's pretty cool. I mean, everything that I feel like the women in our sport have done this season so far is pretty amazing to be a part of.
6th to 1st in 1 week. I mean, that's how crazy Funny Car is this year. Can you kind of put it into words? I mean, what this year has been like for you? It's been kind of up and down, but everybody's been up and down.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good season for us so far. It's still the beginning. We still have a long way to go, but I definitely feel like we've turned things around from last year. And, we struggled a lot, went through a winless streak. And, when we started testing in the off season coming into this year, I felt pretty good about it. I feel like I've got a great team behind me and great crew chiefs. It's definitely a good team to be a part of. And with Traxxas, of course, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I feel like we've got our car turned around and it's been running a lot more consistently. And I think that's what you need to win. And for me, Dan Hood and Ronnie Thompson, they gave me a fast race car, on Sunday, and that's what we needed to take out Tim Wilkerson. So it moved us up there in the points, and we're hoping for many more wins to come. But right now, we're just really excited with the way that things are going. I mean, we can't be happier in the Chevy Camaro.
Going back to your Ford days from a couple of years ago, the Force team and Tim Wilkerson really had a cool relationship. That still continues to this day. Last week we had Brittany on. We had Tim Wilkerson on as well in talking about their wins. And Wilkie was kind of talking about how proud he was of Brittany in taking home another win and just kind of the relationship they have built over the last couple of years, which I wasn't really aware of. And then it comes back next week. You're against him in the final. Talk about that a little bit, and knowing that you're going up against the guy that's had it set on mean all weekend.
He's probably one of the greatest guys out there.
Mm-hmm.
I've known him, since I was a kid, and, with him racing against my dad, and he's just always, been the sweetest guy, most kind-hearted person. And, it's always fun racing him, and he's had a fast hot rod this year, and he's definitely been one that everyone's kind of got their eyes on. I mean, everyone wants to take out that car because they know how fast he's been. And actually over qualifying, he was number one qualifier, and then, he jumped in my tow truck. I was going to run him on Q4. He jumped in my tow truck. We took a picture together. I posted it. We've always had a really, fun relationship. He's just a great guy, and, just a fun competitor out there. So, he even came to my wedding. So,
wow.
I mean, that's how close we are. I mean, I've known him for years, and, I told him, after I got the win, after I beat him in the final, he came up and gave me a hug, and, you could even tell that even though he lost, he was still happy for me. And, that's a great person right there. And he's a tough car to beat for sure, but it's a lot of fun, having a friend like him out there.
It's nice to be connected and have the family connections within your team. Sometimes it can be a little bit awkward. You talked about in the Fox broadcast, you were talking with your sister Ashley about her husband, your brother-in-law, had, quote, lit you up, or maybe I'll let you explain that a little bit. But obviously Dan Hood is the crew chief of your car. Had some issues during Sunday. Can you explain that maybe a little bit better than I can?
Yeah, I throughout qualifying, we made some pretty solid passes. We were running in the threes, and I kept joking because I kept having a fire down at the top end. After I was shutting my car off, it lit up, and I had a little fire down there. And, hit the fire bottle, jumped out of the car, and, Safety Safari was right there, putting it out. But I joked with Ashley, you need to go tell your husband to quit lighting my buns on fire every run. And then he did it again in the second round. Obviously not on purpose.
Yeah.
It's just the way racing is. And it was just kind of fun to poke fun at it. And he was still giving me the win lights. So, I told him, you know what, you can light me on fire every weekend in that race car. I mean, as long as we're winning, you know, I'll put up with it. I don't care.
Were you having a little problem with the body trying to get one of those up? It looked like you were trying to get the body up while the safety safari was getting there, but maybe not as successful as you'd liked.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're done after a run, I mean, you're a little out of breath, but
Yeah.
I was trying to pull it, and with our bodies, you kind of have to pull the lever out and twist it, and it's 2 levers, so you're pulling them out, twisting it. And the safety safari guy, I don't know if we were both like turning it the wrong way or what, but we couldn't get it out for a second. And another run, we had a piece of the blower belt that was like hooked on the lever on the inside underneath the body, so I was kind of tossing pieces over the guardrail with that, but part of it, I mean, it's, you know, obviously I'm used to sitting in the cockpit of the car. I'm not used to pulling my body up and down.
Right.
But safety safari was right there, and we got it up and got the fire out. So it's really, you know, all that matters. I was just trying to get it up as quickly as I could.
You talked about in post-race that maybe you hadn't had the most consistent car all weekend leading up to Sunday. But I tell you what,
right.
When you're talking about 395, 396, 393, and 391, that's 500, you know, within the course of a Sunday. You do that enough, you're going to win races.
Yeah, I mean, no, we definitely had a consistent car on race day.
Yeah.
Through qualifying, I was a little, you know, nervous because we had, you know, weekends in the past, you know, at the start of the season, we were having, you know, great consistent runs and flying down there on all 4 qualifying runs. But we had a couple where, we went up in smoke or whatever it may be. And so that's what made me a little bit nervous going into race day. But we performed so well, you know, on race day when it mattered. So I was excited about that. But, yeah, I mean, I felt like I've had an even more consistent race car at past weekends. So it definitely gets me excited looking forward and kind of gets myself and my team a little bit of a confidence boost. I mean, we're excited because we're in the Traxxas Nitro Shootout now. So now, you know, I don't have to think about that and worry about trying to get in. And now we can just focus on trying to go rounds and winning more races out here.
Yeah, this is a business, and getting your Traxxas car into their event is fairly significant.
Yeah, a little bit of pressure there, but
right?
Just excited that we did it.
This has been really the year of the female. Brittany, Alexis, Leah, you have won. And I know that all of you want to be known as racers, but for a lot of people, there's going to be that separation, and there's probably always going to be that separation. So how cool is it to be 6 races in now and being a part of that group? And it's getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely huge, I think, for our sport. You know, it's cool to think that there's been a female winner in the pro class, either Top Fuel or Funny Car, you know, the last 5 races in a row, and it's really cool to be a part of that. Leah getting the win, Brittany, and then Alexis, and then Brittany again, and then me, you know, this past weekend in Houston. It's definitely exciting. It's a pretty cool stat, and it's, you know, really shows how far our sports come, and it's exciting.
Continuing the good mojo within the family, your husband, Graham Rahal, of course, from IndyCar, with a really good run at Barber Motorsports Park here a couple weeks ago with a 2nd place. Now, how competitive do you get? Obviously, we're talking about apples and oranges, and I guess it's probably more about wanting your husband to do well and he wanting his wife to do well. But how is there any competition between you two about, okay, who did better this past weekend?
No, not at all. I mean, it's you know, the cool thing about our relationship, obviously we're there to support each other.
Right.
So it's just exciting, just cheering each other on, whether we're you know, at the race watching in person or just kind of seeing it on TV and being in 2 different states racing. You know, I always want him to do well and be safe out there, obviously. So it was actually really cool. He had the weekend off and was able to come be at my race and cheer me on for the win. So it was cool to have him there, and it was exciting to, you know, be in the winner's circle with him as well.
Coming up in a couple of days, maybe the most important person, coming up is Mom and Mother's Day. So what are the plans for your mom and what the Force family has in tap for Sunday?
We don't know yet. We're still figuring that out. Actually, tomorrow's my dad's birthday, so we're getting everything all set up and ready, and just trying to figure out what we'll do for Mother's Day, and hopefully do something special. I mean, it's my mom's a wonderful person, and she's our number one supporter. So hopefully do a brunch or a movie, or do something special, but kind of let her pick what she wants to do.
Okay, last question. By my count, Robert has won, Brittany has won, you have won. The old man has yet to get on the scoreboard. Are we reminding him of this, or are we trying to keep that under the hat?
No, man, he knows how to win races. We don't have to tell him. I'm sure he'll get it done soon enough. They've got a great race car over there, so I'm not too worried about him, honestly. I think they'll get it done soon enough.
Driver of the tracks is Chevy Camaro funny car for John Force Racing and winner at Royal Purple Raceway this past weekend. Courtney Force, thanks so much for your time. We really appreciate it, and good luck here coming up in Atlanta.
Thank you so much.
More of the Straight Line coming up.
You're listening to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. More right after this.
O'Reilly. Regular oil changes are key to engine life, but the oil is only as good as the filter it flows through. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, earn double O Rewards points on all Mobil 1, K&N, Bosch, and Wix XP oil filters. These premium filters are made to remove more dirt, reduce friction, and keep your engine running smooth and strong. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, it's me, Kansas Speedway. And, I'm sorry. Sorry for the blast of NASCAR in your ear holes at 200 miles per hour. Sorry for turning your kids into motorheads. Sorry when your bones rattle into next week. And sorry for my all-weekend tailgates, high-octane parties, and epic adrenaline shebangs. Yeah, I'm real sorry about that. Tell them about the race.
It's the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series GoBowling.com 400, featuring the sport's top drivers. Saturday night, May 7th, Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah. Sorry, moms. Sorry I'm always BYOB and you never have to pay for parking. Sorry when bad drivers race their flippin' wheels off.
Get your tickets at KansasSpeedway.com.
You're welcome.
Welcome back to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Here's more with Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Welcome back to The Straight Line. Thanks for being here for our 1 hour of horsepower. Along with Doug Herbert, I am Marty Huff. Leah Pritchett will join us here in just a moment. Really interesting. We'll talk to Leah about this here in just a couple of minutes. Showing up at Royal Purple Raceway. Of course, this is Houston. This is the home of Quaker State, and they had one more race to fulfill that sponsor. So they went ahead, got that through. Qualifying, they're just kind of running up and down the track. And then Sunday, all of a sudden, they just take off, going 329 miles an hour during Sunday eliminations, taking it all the way to the semifinals. Joined now on the hotline right now by the driver of the Fire Aid Top Fuel Dragster for Don Schumacher Racing coming up in Atlanta. Leah Pritchett joins us. Leah, thanks for being here, and congratulations on the good news.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to speak with you guys, and especially on some good notes like this. It's been a crazy week or weeks or months, as you'd say, but it's all good. It's all good right now.
Hey, Leah, how did you put that deal together to get the team down there to Houston for one, and then figured out a situation with Schumacher now to go out and do some more races? What a good deal.
Well, I've got to say, it takes a lot of networking, a lot of work, a lot of behind-the-scenes complex action that really can't quite discuss here. But, we were promised to be able to run a full season, the BVR team, and unfortunately we were unable to do so. But putting some pieces of the puzzle together, getting Houston to be able to happen it was a little bit of a stretch, but we got it done. And, when BVR had announced that they were no longer able to race and that Bob had retired, we were all set a goal for, you set a goal and you look for your next job, your next opportunity, but we all wanted to continue together. And so that just raises the bar from a goal level. And we said, man, we got to keep this thing going. So a lot of pieces fell together, and it happened during Charlotte when I was able to run for the Laguna race team. Already getting to that race was a feat at Charlotte, and I had a wonderful, awesome time doing it. But thinking ahead to Atlanta, like, man, I cannot let this dream slip away. I cannot, let races be missed and just one at a time. So Atlanta is where the home base is for Fire Aid, and we got to talking, and they have a large hospitality presence. And an opportunity came about with Don Schumacher's sports team that he's been working on and talking about, but it wasn't ready to go. So we kind of went into, rapid mode of, okay, we can put this together, let's do it. And that's what's been happening ever since. And we've been working behind the scenes to happen. And then Don, of course, announced on Sunday that we would be doing that, which is really, it's crazy to think, I'm sitting in the water box of the semifinals.
Yeah.
And we're all of us. I'm running Doug Kalitta, and we're waiting for the rain to go away. But it's not pouring, and it's not just a little misting. It's like borderline gonna rain or not rain. And so we're sitting there for 30 minutes. And I'm the next pair up, staring at the tree, focusing on my job at hand with my current team, trying to win this race. And of course, NHRA is filling this time with interviews. And I didn't know that Don Schumacher was right next to my car when he did that interview and let the world know, which was a very interesting and proud feeling to know that I have a job to finish on this day. And of course, as soon as I get out of that car and at the end of a Sunday, an even bigger job to do to keep this team going, even if it is one race at a time that we're working on. So it was a very, very eventful week, to say the least.
Let's talk about Sunday. Pretty interesting that during qualifying, and probably not the most impressive. I don't know if you were trying to save parts or if you just missed the tune, and then all of a sudden on Sunday, this thing takes off like a rocket, 329 miles an hour in the second round, finally bowing out to the eventual winner, Doug Kalitta. I mean, first of all, how did this deal come about where you could put the gang back together, essentially, and then run really well to do so?
Well, like I said, there's a lot of complex details that go into the background of how we get to the racetrack in regards to put deals together, but we ended up making it happen and fulfilling, of course, a commitment that we have to Quaker State as a brand, as a partner of mine. Being able to do so was very gratifying. So yes, we did not, kick it out of the park in qualifying. And obviously this team, that BBR team with Mike and Joe, we missed running Charlotte. So the last time we had raced was Vegas, and right after that is when we had all got let go, and not all the parts and pieces were serviced to go race again. So when we got the green light to be able to race, we were already in the midst of selling off the parts, trying to sell the BVR operation, trying to sell the cars. Things were scattered. So to get ready for Houston was a stretch of get as many people back as we can. What's in Dave's trailer and Dave Connolly's trailer that we can use? We knew that he had been running a pump that worked, a fuel pump that worked a little bit better than ours, and we ran that during qualifying and trying to figure that out. So when we smoked the tires, we shook the tires, we were overpowered, underpowered, and to add on top of that, with it being the conditions that it were, of an extremely great track surface, but the ability to make power with so much grains. I mean, we went from 90 grains to 100 to 130. It was all over the chart. So that's different than the races that we had been in. However, that being said, and I said it over the off season, that this car that I had raced had been 332 miles an hour with Larry Dixon in it multiple times, knowing that that's what Mike and Joe know how to do. They know how to go fast and they know how to go quick. So to add in these extra variables of some parts that we hadn't necessarily ran with extreme conditions from an atmospheric standpoint, mixed with missing a race, really upped our level of difficulty. But after Q4, we had gained some traction, then dropped some holes, but we had gotten far enough down the track on Q4 to really learn what we needed to learn. We weren't wearing enough clutch all weekend long, and finally we were. So Mike and Joe, they go, we got this, and let's just get down the track on Q1. We think we've got it. They put down a great baseline. We ran that 381 and against Clay. And then after that, I'm going to be totally honest, I was not expecting a 374. I mean, after the weekend that we've had, we're stoked to go past first round, stoked to be in the second one, and going 329 miles an hour. It was literally a feeling I had never felt. That given it's only 4 miles an hour faster than I had ever been at 325. When I launched, I go, all right, like we're on a run. We get past the shake and smoke section, go into half track. But see, the thing is that I could hear Sean next to me and I could see him next to me for a small amount of time. And I'm like, oh man, we're in a 70 run, but here he is, he's next to me. And then I don't see him anymore, go through the finish line, see the light. And, to be honest, Sean got out of the car. He's like, are you kidding me? I had a 57 light and I ran a 76 and I got beat. And Sean's one of my great friends, and that's a testament to Mike and Joe being able to pull out those runs eventually when they get it right. Now, it's extremely unfortunate that car is now parked, and we're not going to be able to build on that momentum, and we're starting something totally new. I mean, brand new territory, even though we're in the same zip code. Actually, we're in the same building as we were, but this is a whole new ballpark coming into Atlanta.
Well, that's a pretty big story. Tell us about the Fire Aid deal. Is it just for Atlanta, or you're trying to put other stuff together? So right now, Atlanta's the only one that you've got nailed down and working on other stuff, huh?
Well, just this week we were able to announce that Atlanta and the U.S. Nationals are the dedicated Fire Aid races at this time. I have quite a few proposals out in regards to business with Fire Aid that would be able to result in some more races that, as a collaborative effort of DSR and the network of people at the track trying to make happen. There's some other, obviously, many deals always in the works. And you guys know me. There's always irons in the fire somewhere. I just didn't think I'd have to put my irons in the fire this quick in the season to get things going. But to be totally honest, we're 10 races shy before the U.S. Nationals. So the current scenario at hand is that, yes, we're running Atlanta with Fire Aid as the primary sponsor and looking to fill in the 10 in between. And I don't have an answer for that. Depending on phone calls, emails, text messages, and proposals out in every B2B and B2C way, that's what's going to fill in. So my best hope is to stay in the game as long as I can. I would hate to, show up at the U.S. Nationals after not racing so many races. And again, I don't know what's after that, but it's a work in progress, and we're going so fast, but I just wish that time would stand still at this moment, and I wish we could buy a little more time, but we can't. That's the situation. That's the scenario. Quaker State and Shell are still a partner of mine. We're working together to see, what the availability is to add races there as well. But at the current moment, I think it's freaking awesome to have 4 top fuel cars for DSR and to finally be a DSR roster driver for as long as really we can make that happen. We'll have to see.
NHRA is all over this Year of the Girl, and as they should. 5 straight weeks we've had a female winner in the pro categories in Nitro. 5 of the 6 races, you being one of those. How is this something that you can use while you're knocking on doors and making phone calls?
I think absolutely, for sure. And it's not just, hey, I'm a female and I want to race. It's, hey, we want to race. Look at this TV package that's growing, exponentially. And on top of it, the other females that are winning, it's a growing effort together. And I can't say that, any of us are doing anything differently, but I'm a firm believer in things happen for a reason. And things take a long time to accrue. Magic doesn't happen overnight, but it's definitely a tool in our toolbox that we're going to be able to utilize in the fact that NHRA is already strong, but now it's becoming stronger by the success of the women in this sport, not only participating, but winning, and that speaks volumes. So it is something that we can use, but it's not, our biggest tool in the box. But by all means, it's something that we're very proud of and hope to just continue.
We sat down for lunch, I don't know, a couple of years ago with some common friends of ours, and I was really impressed by your knowledge of the business end and how people are selling the sport. I mean, we talked about TV ratings points and Joyce Julius numbers and stuff like that. And what most people see behind the scenes maybe and may not be known to the common fan. How are you able to use that knowledge that you have now in trying to work up another deal to try to get you to the U.S. Nationals?
Well, I think just like you said, it was a number of years ago, and I've always had to kind of sell myself and pitch myself and move deals along solo, just because I never really had the backing of a team or the resources or personnel to do it for me. So I learned the ropes the hard way of I need to understand this business like it's my business, because it is my business, and I'm not going to succeed in this sport unless I know every facet of it. So driving the car at the end of the day it's not easy, but it's one of the more simplest parts of all this equation, and that is huge, because these cars, they run on nitro, and nitro is not cheap. And what we're trying to do, and we are doing, is elevating the value of this sport. And at the end of the day, value is what we bring not only to the fans but to all of our partners. And you need to back that up with numbers on the scoreboard and numbers in the boardroom. And so that takes every single effort along the way. I mean, there's only two things in your life that you can really control. That's your attitude and that's your effort. And so when you blow those out of the water and give it every single ounce of alpha that you can give it, I mean, that's when you expect to be successful. And that's something I've been working towards for a long time, knowing that I needed to equip myself with the knowledge of, like you said, not only from a media standpoint and a value added standpoint, but the business side of things, because that's why companies partner with people like myself or other drivers or the entire DSR operation, or even BVR, because you add value not only on the track with the fans, but you add it to their business, and this is a business.
Well, Leah, congratulations. We're happy that you're going to be out there racing in Atlanta, and we missed you this year at the Breaks Golf Tournament, so we'll hopefully see you maybe at the fall. Our fall gala is what we're looking forward to.
Thank you. I hope to be there too. I had planned by all means to be a part of that, but sometimes plans fall apart right in front of you.
There's no part of yours. Right, exactly.
Driver of the Fire Aid Top Fuel Dragster for Don Schumacher Racing coming up in Atlanta, Leah Pritchett. Thanks for your time. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, guys.
Driver of the Mac Tools Top Fuel Dragster coming up, Doug Kalitta, right around the corner.
This is The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. We'll have more for you right after this.
O'Reilly.
Regular oil changes are key to engine life, but the oil is only as good as the filter it flows through. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, earn double O Rewards points on all Mobil 1, K&N, Bosch, and Wix XP oil filters. These premium filters are made to remove more dirt, reduce friction, and keep your engine running smooth and strong. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If you or your family love the freedom of swimming any time of year, if you love sharing good times and making great memories, or if you want one of the best total body workouts ever, then it's time to discover the 3 C's of your very own endless pool. The first C is convenience. Imagine swimming year-round in your own private swimming pool, installed indoors or out, just steps away. The second C is comfort. With sculpted spa seats and your own adjustable temperature, you can easily escape the stress of your day. And the third C is cost. Your endless pool is an affordable luxury at a fraction of the cost of a regular pool. And here's a bonus C, choice. Because when you call for your free Endless Pool Idea Kit, you'll receive information on our full line of pools to suit your budget and location.
Call now for free information. 800-283-8089. 800-283-8089.
You're listening to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now it's back to Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Thanks to Leah Pritchett for joining us on The Straight Line, and joining us on the telephone line right now is the driver of the Mac Tools Top Fuel Dragster for the Bounty Hunter, Connie Kalitta, and Kalitta Motorsports. Doug Kalitta joins us. Doug, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. Congratulations on the win.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
Hey, Doug, it seemed like Jimmo was really excited. He was almost to the point of being surprised when you guys went up there and won that final round. But with that reaction time that you had a pretty big desire to take that Wally home, I think.
Yeah, that when you get to the final, you know how it is. It's time to lead, follow, or get out of the way, one of the three. But
well, you were ready. I know. I remember back years ago when we raced. You and I raced in the final at Sonoma, and you whipped me on a hole shot. I was late, and you whipped me on a hole shot. So you definitely got your act together in the final, and you showed us this week. And what did Connie have to say to you after that win?
yeah, he was happy. He actually got up and spent a little time with us at the winner's circle thing. Sometimes you got to go find him, and then sometimes he's there. So he was pretty excited this time. So it's always great. He's got such a passion for the sport, and just a great guy to have around. With everything that we've got going on, and he's still tuning JR's car, and so he's knee deep in what we're doing, and it's just a lot of fun.
He wasn't any part of the big dog pile at the starting line, though.
Let's hope
right?
not. God.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. I wouldn't want to be the guy that landed on him or even got him drug into that. It wouldn't be pretty.
No. Oh no, yeah, that would be bad. Jimmo said that Connie was all over him about if Torrance is going to whip your butt here, and which I was kind of surprised at. I know he's trying to light a fire under people, but that was a little bit surprising that he was telling him right to his face that Torrance has got this one.
Yeah, no, he with Alan tuning that thing, that's a big key to Connie's. He just knows how good Alan, and you just can't give him any slack there, and Connie usually doesn't. So. So they had it tuned up. The thing actually left, it had the front end up and carried it out there and set it down for a second and carried it, which usually with my car, carry a little bit, set it down and, go or whatever. But so I thought, man, this thing's on a pretty good run. And so Doug knows all about that. When you get the tire comes back down after it's been up for a little bit and a little smoke comes off it. That's usually a good sign your car's going to run good. But no, it was a great run, great weekend for us. With everybody on the Mac Tools team and Connie and Jim, and we're just all real happy to get the win there. And Houston is a place that my cousin Scott actually got his first win at in a funny car back in I think '89 or something like that. It was a real long time ago. So we got a lot of history there, and I've been fortunate enough to win 3 times I think there now. So it's been a good place.
Yeah, going back to places. Yeah, going back to places that you win is always good. And it looked like first round. I think you guys had low ET of the whole first round too. So I mean, the car was running good, and obviously you guys go into any race, you're a contender to win at every single race that you go to. Now with 39 wins, that's kind of cool being tied with Kenny Bernstein. He was out there doing this for a long time. Looking back, Doug, on those 39 races, what was your most memorable or some of your most memorable wins?
Definitely the first one, at Sonoma. You get a new opportunity and you just hope like heck you're going to win one of these races, especially after me following Connie for, obviously my whole life, and, and getting the opportunity to drive these things. And, back when I started running, I mean, Joe Amato was there, obviously Kenny Bernstein. So, I mean, I really looked up to, yourself, all you guys are out here running, and so I get an opportunity. So that first win was huge, and I've just been very fortunate with the opportunity I've gotten from Connie and and the crew chiefs that he's lined me up with. We're I've had a lot of fun doing this, and I had a good running car. So we have Jim. I can't say enough about the job that Jim O and that he's doing with my team, and really all the guys on that team. So, and in addition to overseeing my car, he's assembled and keeps an eye on, the other teams that we've got and the overall management of the Kalitta Motorsport. So real proud of what he's doing, and yeah, but it's been a lot of fun, and we're definitely in the hunt here with what we're doing this year. We got a real good effort going on with all the stuff that we're building. We've built this chassis. We're now starting to build these funny car chassis, and we've got a real nice jig. And I mean, just a lot of the pieces that we didn't have seem to be coming together, for all of our teams. And
well,
so it's been an exciting year.
Yeah, winning the Funny Car Championship last year was a huge thing to bring another championship back to Kalitta Motorsports. I mean, you guys were knocking them dead back with Scott in the Top Fuel car, and then you were very close to win the championship a couple times. You got it sideswiped from you there that one year, and now number 2 in points. But more importantly than that, I think it's just the overall performance of the team. I mean, your cars have had top speed of the race, several races. I mean, they're like, running at the top of the heap.
Yeah. So we got a lot of exciting things going on, and definitely great running against Kenny all those years when I was running him, and it was great. Obviously tying him in wins with the Top Fuel, and also with Antron. I mean, I look up to him. He's just an incredible driver. Anybody that would drive a motorcycle out there too, I have a lot of respect for it, because I've never actually tried that. It's one of those things you kind of walk by and wonder about. But he's definitely done a great job, and we're.
Hey, Doug, obviously you do a lot more than just go to the races and drive a Top Fuel dragster. Tell us a little bit about, what are you doing today? You out flying a 747 or something, or what's your day? What's your day look like?
My businesses here. I've been growing these things over the years, and right now I've got 43 different planes and like 300 people that work with my effort, and we do a lot of we do all of our own maintenance. Engines, airframes, it's flying just about everything that that we get an opportunity to do with. We just finished up flying all the thoroughbred racehorses into the Kentucky Derby. They usually get them there about a week ahead of time, to get all those settled, and so that's a big program, and it's just-in-time automotive freight that keeps all these assembly plants running when they get behind. That's probably the biggest thing that we do, or the most consistent thing that we do. We run a lot of air ambulance flights with Learjets, people from hospital to hospital, not necessarily from, they're in a controlled environment by the time we go to pick them up, so it's not like a helicopter type situation, but it's stay real busy with the airline side.
I bet.
And then Connie up there, I try to help him with whatever I can do to help him, which his business, he's got about 1,500 people. His maintenance facility that's up in northern Michigan has about 900 people. So that place is just really busy up there. And but the great thing about what I do with the racing and the aviation, I mean, it kind of forces you to surround yourself with good people and really learn how to delegate and and keep all your areas organized enough to where they can run without a lot of stress. And so that's one of the things that I've
because we know Connie doesn't hardly have any stress at all. He's such a low stress guy to be with.
As low stress as you can possibly make an aviation type.
Yeah.
You got to fuel it, you got to fly it, and you got weather, you got all this stuff that's going on with this thing, and so I mean, I'm surrounded by we've got a lot of great people that work with our companies here, and but no, it's all good, really.
Well, Doug, congratulations on your back-to-back wins down at Houston. Great job by you and the whole Kalitta Motorsports Mac Tools team. Jimmo, Connie, great job. And congratulations on tying now for wins, Kenny Bernstein. So ready to go out there and get that next one and jump ahead of old KB.
Yeah, that's the plan. So typical drag racer answer there, right?
That's right.
Exactly. Doug Kalitta, driver of the Mac Tools Top Fuel Dragster for Connie Kalitta. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks again, guys.
And
Thanks,
he will be and he'll be trying to beat that record of Kenny Bernstein at Atlantic coming up.
And I have no doubt that Doug will get that win here before too long. That car's just running.
Yeah.
We've talked about it the last few races. I mean, top speed of the meet several times. I think they had low ET maybe at least one race. I mean, that car is running really good. And then obviously with the success of all the funny cars, the Kalitta funny cars this year, I mean, that whole program is, I mean, they're top notch, race winning,
along with
capable every weekend.
Anybody at any time. When we return, we will wrap up another great edition of the show.
You're listening to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. More right after this.
O'Reilly.
Regular oil changes are key to engine life, but the oil is only as good as the filter it flows through. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, earn double O rewards points on all Mobil 1, K&N, Bosch, and Wix XP oil filters. These premium filters are made to remove more dirt, reduce friction, and keep your engine running smooth and strong. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
NHRA Drag Racer Doug Herbert here to talk about safe driving. In early 2008, my two sons were killed in a car accident that was caused by speed and inexperience. After the accident, I learned that over 6,000 teenagers each year are killed in car accidents, so I formed a nonprofit organization called Brakes. Brakes stands for Be Responsible and Keep Everyone Safe. Please visit our website at putonthebrakes.org to learn more about responsible driving and what you can do to keep our roads safe.
It's The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now here's Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Speaking of O'Reilly Auto Parts, big thanks to them. They make this show possible. Here in front of us, we have what they call the Shredder. Now, this is a die-cast car in front of us, the number 57. But right there, there is a full-length version of this car that's floating around the country. You can see it next week in Arkansas, in Little Rock, and in Sherwood, Arkansas, and on May 12th in Bryant, Arkansas, and on May 13th, North Little Rock. You can see that. And if you want to see more about this or find out more about the car or where it's going to be at, O'ReillyAutoParts.com/Shredder for future appearances in your area. Big thanks to Courtney Force, also Leah Pritchett and Doug Kalitta for joining us on the show. So for everybody involved, including Doug and Robbie Mays and Daryl Smith, I'm Marty Huff. We will talk to you next week right here on The Straight Line on MRN.com.
You've been listening to The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Tune in again next Thursday at noon Eastern on MotorRacingNetwork.com and the MRN app. The Straight Line is the show for drag racing fans and is brought to you by Hercules Tires. This program is also available on demand at the MRN.com Media Center, or you can download it through iTunes or Stitcher. The Straight Line is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.